Hello guys, today's video will be another case of helping someone on Laracasts forum to group the data and work with Eloquent. Because I'm a fan of practical learning, so let's learn on that practical example from a real project. In short, the task is to query the relationship 3 levels deep. And I have already answered on Laracast, and I will link that in the description of this video, the link to the post itself, but now I will summarize. So for that Nilo Leon, for that person, they have model customers. Then customer has many claims. It's probably some kind of insurance project. Then claims model. Every claim may have many refunds. So I imagine person claiming something with a lot of refunds potentially. And then every refund may belong to service with belongs to many relationship. So for example, the refund is $100. For service 1 it's $20. For service 2 it's a full refund or something like that. So a pretty realistic scenario. Now the task is to write a query of all customers that have successful refunds for a certain service. So it's querying the customer, so level 1, querying that by condition with level 4 relationship. And there are 2 tables between those. How to query that? And as usual, there are multiple ways to do that, so I will present my own way, what I came up with after 30 minutes of playing around with Eloquent queries. And I have recreated that database in a simplified way, missing a lot of columns, but keeping the relationship columns, the main ones, with customers having cliente. Cliente is probably customer number or something. Then there are claims with belongs to a customer. Then there are refunds belong to claim. And then there are services with a pivot table of refund service. Probably it would be better to understand visually, so I've created MySQL Workbench chart or database schema visually, so this is how it looks. Probably you will understand it a bit better. So customers have many claims, claim has many refunds, and then refunds may have multiple services with a pivot table. And our task is to query the cliente of customers, filtering by service ID, by this ID or by this service ID. So if I had to write plain SQL query for that, it will be customers join, where, and quite a lot of complexity. And let's see what I came up with. This is the controller code, and it looks like a pretty short way to execute that long SQL query, right? But there are quite a lot of things happening under the hood, so let me explain. We are querying customers with only one field cliente, with count of the refunds. And we are filtering only those customers that have refunds service with ID 1. So 2 things here, filter out wrong customers and return the amount of refunds for each of them. But there was one additional change to Eloquent model that I have done to achieve that. The relationship goes customers, claims, refunds, services. And in this query, there are no claims mentioned, right? So where have they gone? So in addition to the relationship customer claims, I did another one, hasManyThrough of refunds. In Eloquent, there's a function hasManyThrough, so you can create a relationship 2 levels deep. So customers have many refunds through the model claims. I will add the article to the official documentation in Laravel about hasManyThrough in the description of this video. The main reason to create that function was that it was impossible to use withCount with a relationship 2 levels deep. So if you do claims refunds, it wouldn't work. It would show this error, undefined method. But if you have this with hasManyThrough, it works. And I will also link the withCount documentation in the description as well. And the result of that, as you can see for each statement, withCount refunds turns into refunds underscore count, automatically returned. And if we launch that in a browser, we see something like this. So client with number 56789 have 2 refunds with service 1, and this one has 1 refund. I'm not sure if you noticed, customers has 3 records, so there are 3 customers and one of them is filtered out. So all 3 of them have claims with customer ID 1, 2, or 3, and then all of those claims have refunds, but only 3 of those refunds have service ID 1, which is exactly what we're filtering by. And if we trace back those 3 to customers, this is exactly what we get. 2 here and 1 here. And just out of curiosity, I've installed Laravel debug bar to see what queries executed under the hood. So if we take a look here, let's see, select cliente from customers, joining the claims and refunds, and selecting the count as refunds count, and also checking where exists. and that where exists has a subquery and exists because it's 2 or 3 levels deep. So it's pretty complex, and maybe it can be optimized even more because some parts I see they are repeating. So maybe it's better, let's actually experiment. Let's remove that, refresh our page. We should have more simple query, but now that one customer isn't filtered out. So let's try to load that withCount, because withCount can accept a parameter. So if we do refunds and then have a callback function, I thought I prepared this video beforehand, but now as I'm talking, I will try to refactor that even better in live mode kind of. So we can put where has here on query, where has, comment that like this, and probably this one isn't needed. And let's see what we have now. As you can see, now it has 0. So what we're left to do here is to filter that out. But we need to do that after the get, because refunds count is a calculatable field not directly existing in the database. So instead of doing where here, we need to do that after that. So where refunds count bigger than 0. And now if we refresh, we're back to the same result, but with more simple query. So we changed the last filtering of 0 or not 0 from Eloquent query to the collection filtering. It would be pretty similar as doing that if. So if customer refunds count is bigger than 0, then do that. And then we can comment that, get, and do the same result. But I'm just doing that directly on the collection with where statement. Let's do undo, undo, undo. And this is our final version. What do you think about my filtering? Did you like the first version or the second version better? And maybe you have more tips to optimize that even more? Share in the comments below. Because as I said, there are multiple ways to query the database in Eloquent and collections and all of that. So let's all learn Laravel and Eloquent together by sharing tips to each other. And I will continue doing that on this YouTube channel, so you should subscribe and tell your friends to subscribe. And I will keep shooting the videos almost daily now. See you guys in other videos.